You rise before the sun. The world outside is still and perfectly silent. A deep, soft, velvety darkness wraps around your small wooden house, tucked quietly beside a bamboo grove on the edge of a sleepy town in Edo-period Japan. The night air is cool and fresh, smelling of damp earth and the faint, clean scent of pine. You push back the heavy cotton quilt and rise slowly in the dark. There is no rush. There is never any rush. This is the hour when the heart prepares itself for a day of quiet, sacred ritual. You are a tea master, and today, like every day, you will practice the way of tea. You slide open a paper screen door, and the cool, pre-dawn air touches your face like a soft, gentle hand. The small garden outside is bathed in the pale, silver light of a fading moon. Every blade of moss glistens with a fine layer of dew. The stepping stones leading to the small tea house are dark with moisture. A single frog lets out a soft, tentative croak from the edge of the small pond. You stand for a moment, breathing deeply, your hands resting at your sides. In the distance, a lone bird begins its first hesitant song of the morning. This is the moment of perfect silence before the world awakens. You dress quietly in a simple kimono of soft, undyed cotton and tie it with a plain, dark sash. The fabric is cool and light against your skin. You step out onto the narrow wooden veranda that runs along the edge of your house. The floorboards creak very softly under your weight. A familiar, friendly sound. You put on a pair of simple straw sandals, the woven grass rough and warm against your bare feet. You pick up a simple bamboo broom from the corner of the veranda. Its handle is worn smooth by years of use. The work of the day begins with a quiet, humble act, sweeping. You walk slowly along the stone path, the broom making a soft, rhythmic, rustling sound on the damp gravel. Shush, shush, shush. The sound is as old and meditative as the turning of the seasons. You sweep away the few fallen camellia leaves, the tiny twigs, the invisible dust of the night. You do not rush. Each stroke is deliberate and careful, as if you are sweeping away not just physical dust, but the dust of the busy thoughts within. The path is not dirty, but you sweep it anyway. It is a part of the ritual. When you finish, the path is a clean, dark ribbon winding through the silvery moss, ready to welcome your guest. The light is now beginning to change. The deep, dark indigo of the sky is softening to a pale, clear gray. You walk to the small tea house that stands at the far end of the garden. It is a tiny, humble building with walls made of simple, weathered wood and paper screens. It has a low door, so small that anyone entering must bow very low, leaving their sword and their pride outside. You slide the door open and step inside. The air within is cool and still, and it smells of the oldest, most sacred incense of all, fresh, dry tatami mats. The sun begins to peer through the paper screens, filling the room with a soft, diffused golden light. You take a moment to simply sit on the smooth, woven floor and look around. This is your sanctuary. In the special alcove, the tokonoma, a simple hanging scroll with a single, beautifully brushed character meaning stillness, hangs. Below it, an empty artistic vase sits. You rise and walk back out into the garden, the world now fully awake with the clean, sharp light of dawn. You spend a long, quiet moment among the camellia bushes. You bend down, looking at each bloom with a patient, discerning eye. One is too open, its beauty already past. Another is too tight, a clenched fist of petals. And then you find it, a single perfect flower, its petals a brilliant, deep crimson, still holding a single trembling drop of dew. You cut it carefully with a small knife and carry it, cradled in your palm like a jewel, back into the tea house. You place it with quiet reverence into the simple vase. It is the only ornament in the entire room, and its beauty is breathtaking. Now comes the quiet, meticulous ritual of purifying the utensils. You enter a small preparation room and lift a heavy cast-iron kettle filled with fresh, cold spring water. The kettle is rough and dark, smelling of the ancient charcoal fires of the foundry. You place it gently onto the glowing charcoal brazier that sits in a sunken hearth in the center of the tatami floor. You wait. After a few moments, a very quiet, very beautiful sound begins. It is not a whistling or a bubbling, but a soft, gentle, melodic whisper. The sound of the iron heating, of the water beginning to dream of boiling. The Japanese have a word for this sound, matsukaze, the wind in the pines. It is the sound of deep peace. You bring out the other tools, moving with a slow, practiced grace. The freshwater jar, a simple piece of darkened pottery. The matcha caddy, a small, lacquered black container. The bamboo whisk, carved from a single piece of pale bamboo into 100 delicate, flexible tines. And finally, the heart of the ceremony, the shawan, the tea bowl. You pick it up and examine it in the soft morning light. It is a beautiful, simple, uneven bowl fired in a local kiln. Its surface is a warm, earthy, crackled cream color with a single beautiful drip of olive green glaze. It is not perfectly round or flawless, and that is its profound, simple beauty. You slowly, gently polish the tea bowl with a soft silk cloth. You polish the tea caddy. You purify the bamboo whisk with a scoop of fresh, cool water, watching the droplets fall from its pale tines like a miniature silent rainstorm. Every movement is a prayer. Every action is a meditation. The sun is now higher, and the garden is alive with the soft, gentle sound of a blackbird. Then you hear a very faint, distant sound. A single, deliberate, gentle knock on your wooden gate. Your guest has arrived. You walk slowly down the stone path, the gravel crunching softly under your sandals. You open the wooden gate. Your guest, a fellow lover of tea and quietness, stands outside, his eyes full of calm respect. No words are spoken. You simply look at each other, then bow. It is a silent, shared, deep bow, a conversation of the soul. No words are needed. You turn and lead him along the dew-swept path, past the mossy stones, past the gently trickling bamboo water fountain where he stops to rinse his hands and mouth. A ritual of physical and spiritual cleansing. He stoops low to enter the tiny tea-house door, stepping carefully inside. You follow. Inside, the space is transformed. The golden morning light has softened. The air is filled with the soft, gentle whisper of the now boiling water in the iron kettle, that beautiful, song-like sound of wind in the pines. Your guest first approaches the Takanoma alcove. He kneels and bows deeply to the scroll in the single, perfect camellia blossom, an act of deep, silent gratitude for beauty itself. He then sits, cross-legged, on the tatami mat. You take your place opposite him beside the glowing hearth. The entire world outside the paper screens fades into a profound, distant silence. There is only this moment. There is only this bowl of tea. You lift the soft purple silk cloth and, with a slow, deliberate, almost reverent grace, you begin to purify the utensils one final time. Your guest watches, his breath slow and steady. You open the small black lacquered tea caddy. The scent of the finest stone-ground matcha instantly rises into the still air. It is a deeply beautiful, vegetal, almost oceanic scent, like the first breath of a spring meadow at dawn. You take the bamboo scoop, a tiny curved piece of polished bamboo, and you lift out 2 scoops of the brilliant jade green powder. It falls into the warm tea bowl with a soft, silent puff. You then lift the bamboo ladle, and you pour a small, precise amount of the hot water from the whispering iron kettle into the bowl. The steam rises, carrying the fragrances together. Then you pick up the bamboo whisk. You hold it gently, your wrist loose and relaxed, and you begin to whisk the tea into a beautiful jade-green froth. The sound is a soft, rapid, rhythmic whisper. Shush, shush, shush! Shush, shush, shush! The whisk moves in a quick, precise back-and-forth motion, not in circles. It is a sound of pure, peaceful industry, of transformation. You whisk until the surface of the tea is a perfectly smooth, bright green foam, like the surface of a tiny, beautiful, tranquil pond. You place the whisk down, and you turn the bowl slowly, deliberately, so the most beautiful side of the bowl faces your guest. You then place the bowl on the tatami mat directly between you. He picks it up with both hands, raising it to his forehead in a gesture of quiet, shared gratitude. He turns the bowl back so the front faces him once more, and then he drinks. He takes 3.5 slow, deliberate sips, savoring the thick, bitter, slightly sweet, intensely green liquid. It tastes of pure, quiet mindfulness, of the earth and the shade, of 1,000 years of patient, simple tradition. He finishes, his eyes closed, and he wipes the rim of the bowl with a small paper cloth. He places the bowl back down on the mat. For a long moment there are no words. There is only the soft, lingering fragrance of the matcha and the deep, profound, living silence. Outside, a sudden breeze rustles the leaves of the ancient bamboo grove. Shoo! 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 It is the voice of nature joining the quiet conversation. The ceremony has ended, but its peace lingers like a beautiful fading perfume. You bow. He bows. Without a word, he departs, his soul a little lighter, his heart a little more still. The afternoon is a time for quiet, gentle work. You tend your garden. You take up a simple wooden bucket of food and walk over to the small koi pond in the corner of the yard. The water is a dark, still green. As you approach, flashes of brilliant orange, white, and gold rise from the depths. The noble fish come to the surface with a quiet, contented swish of their large, soft mouths. You scatter the food, and they eat in a calm, graceful dance. You sit on a flat stone for a while, just watching them, the sun warm on your back. Later, you take a wooden-handled rake and you walk to the small enclosed Zen garden beside the tea house. It is a simple rectangle of pure, fine white gravel. Carefully placed among it are a few large, moss-covered rocks resembling islands in a silent sea of mist. You begin to rake. The long, slow, sweeping motion of pulling the rake through the gravel is a deep, profound meditation. The sound is a soft, rhythmic, gritty whisper. Shh, shh, shh. You create long, straight lines in the gravel, each one a wave of a calm, peaceful ocean. You draw neat, concentric circles around the base of each rock. This is not just gardening. This is the quiet, artistic work of calming the mind. For a long, long hour, there is only the sun, the gravel, and the steady, rhythmic sound of the rake. Finally, as the sun begins to sink towards the distant, hazy blue mountains, you walk back to your veranda. The sky is a breathtaking painting of soft peach, pale gold, and a deep, soothing lavender. You do not sit in your small home. You remain outside, resting on the polished wooden floor of the veranda, your back against a smooth wooden pillar. A cup of simple, hot, roasted barley tea rests beside you, its steam rising softly into the cooling air. A gentle breeze stirs, and then you see it. From the old cherry blossom tree at the corner of the house, a single perfect pale pink petal detaches from a branch. It floats down, not quickly, but in a slow, graceful, spiraling dance. It twirls on the quiet breeze, a silent, perfect star, before settling softly on the mossy ground. Another petal follows, and another. A silent pink snowstorm of pure, fragile beauty. You watch this quiet, fleeting, breathtaking performance, and a deep, profound, wordless contentment fills your heart. You have swept the path. You have placed the flower. You have served the tea. You have raked the gravel. You have spent the entire day immersed in the quiet, graceful celebration of simple beauty. It has been a perfect day. A quiet, peaceful, sacred day. The last petal falls, and as the deep, velvety darkness of the night begins to settle over the garden, a single bright star appears in the eastern sky. You close your eyes. You listen. The soft whisper of the wind in the bamboo, the gentle, distant croak of the frog, the quiet, satisfied sigh of your own peaceful heart. The way of tea is a way of stillness, a way of quiet grace. And in the deepening hush of the evening, you know, with a deep and certain peace, that you have lived this day as it was meant to be lived, slowly, beautifully, completely. The bowl is empty, the garden is still, and the world, for this quiet moment, is perfectly, completely, and utterly at peace. Your own breath deepens now. The quiet garden, the soft light, the gentle whisper of the matcha whisk. Let them all drift away like the petals on the evening breeze. You are safe. You are calm. You are at rest. Let the silence of the tea house, the stillness of the moss, carry you into a deep, peaceful sleep.